I don't know if we're going into a Bitcoin bear market or not, but what I do know is that I'm actually more ready for it than I've ever been. I've shared with you all before that I've been terrible at thinking about bull markets and bear markets and really the 4-year cycle. That just hasn't really been something I've thought about because I've been so like down the Bitcoin rabbit hole of just like it's worth it. Like Bitcoin's changing the world. And so I'm the most zoomed out neutral on bull market or bear market that I've ever been now, and I feel the most prepared now for a bear market. My name is Brian. I talk to affluent 35 to 55-year-olds about how they can incorporate Bitcoin into their personal finances. We hit the philosophy of Bitcoin, but we also hit cold hard tactics on just how to increase your net worth using Bitcoin. And so specifically on this concept of, is the cycle over? Is the top in one of these things? Let's say that it is. Let's just say that it is. The next $1,000 that you have, what are you supposed to do with it then? It used to be to just be like the main advice that, and I'm guilty of saying this too. Like, and I would tell people this for years. It's just, buy the dip, buy the dip. It's always the right time to buy Bitcoin. It's always the right time to buy Bitcoin. Buy the dip, buy the dip. That's not bad. That's not bad. That can be really good and is really good. And that simplicity has served so many people and set up so many people for life with just that simple phrase. So I want you to understand that if you're just going to buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip all the way down, great. Like absolutely, that has proven to work. Absolutely has proven to work with the goal of just increasing your net worth. What's now also new is that the concept of kind of Bitcoin and Bitcoin products having a spectrum of yield and volatility and growth, you can now choose what flavor of yield, volatility, and growth you want of your Bitcoin product. And so the double benefit of having this, now continuum of Bitcoin products is in a bear market, when Bitcoin is making lower highs and lower lows, and we're just stair-stepping down the escalator. If you are using a product like BTCI that sells covered calls, you are selling away upside to collect the premium today. But because Bitcoin is stair-stepping down, you're not getting called away. Like the upside is not coming. Like in the short term, the upside isn't hitting. And so you're collecting money as you're going down. Okay. So in that specific downturn like that, a covered call ETF outperforms spot Bitcoin in that short time frame. Okay. The other thing is with all the MicroStrategy preferreds, they are illustrating. There's a really good slide. My favorite slide of the Q3 earnings call was this slide that just that showed the graph of exactly what I'm describing. Of you have regular spot ETF up here and its growth and volatility profile and its yield. And then all the way down at the bottom, you have STRC, stretch. And stretch, they're trying to strip out all of Bitcoin's volatility. And they're also stripping out all of Bitcoin's growth to the upside. And they're just paying you 10.5% a year, split up monthly. Okay. So you have the entire spectrum now. So if you like BTCI, sweet. That fits in like a certain thing. If you like stretch or the other preferred shares from MicroStrategy, sweet. And then the new 2026 is going to bring so many products now that fit somewhere on this spectrum. And so when people talk to you about a new product or when you hear it on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever, but the mental framework that I'm using is I literally have a whiteboard. I've written it out multiple times and used that slide from the Q3 earnings call and just be like, where is this on the graph of yield, growth, and volatility? And what am I personally trying to do right now? And then ask yourself that. And then you can choose. And so I'll throw out some like stereotypical examples. If you're a young person that's still just working on building up your core Bitcoin stack, then that's what you're doing. You have your growth, you have your yield covered by your job or by whatever else you're doing. And so you don't need yield from a Bitcoin product right now. You need growth. You're trying to just get your net worth up as high as possible and just really get a lot of growth. Okay. And then, so that's like a classic stereotypical example. And then it's like on the opposite side of the schedule, it's like, are you, retired, just living off Social Security income and just your month-to-month budget is like really tight and you don't really want to like risk the principal of your investments because you're just trying to have a really steady dividend payment alongside your Social Security? Great. Then and you've been invested in government money markets, but they don't quite pay the bills anymore because the inflation keeps getting worse and worse and worse. That stretch is attacking that need. It's exactly attacking that need. And the reason why the reason why MicroStrategy can pay that 10.5% sustainably compared to the government money markets is because of the volatility and the growth profile of Bitcoin. But they're saying, hey, we'll work together with you. We'll take all the growth, we'll take all the volatility, we'll take all of that on ourselves, and we'll pay you the easy monthly payment. And so, what does this have to do with the bear market? What this has to do with the bear market is that you now don't have to ride the volatility yourself if you don't want to. Because what does this mean? What does this question come from of well, what about a bear market? What about a bear market? What people are saying is, what happens if my principal goes down? What happens if my principal goes down? When will it come back? No one is able to answer that. No one is able to answer that. You can watch all of the trading and technical analysis videos that you want, and I love watching those videos too, but that's just guessing. Everyone's just guessing, so you don't actually know. But so it's just a question for yourself. It's a question for yourself of if this principle goes down, am I okay? Or am I okay riding it up and down, because I do believe it's going to eventually recover way higher. And so I do just want to buy the dip of the raw commodity and the raw commodity all the way down. Or is my current stage of life more matched up to somewhere else on the spectrum? And there's a chance that for a bear market or for a bull market, there's a chance that your life is just at a different place on the spectrum than owning the raw commodity Bitcoin. That's true. That's just a thing, and that's new now, and that's not bad. That's not bad. That's my life is different now. Buying the raw commodity is not the most efficient thing I can do with the next $1,000 because of the different life goals and life stages that I'm at. But for your life, you might be at the stage where the next $1,000, the raw commodity as full volatility, growth to the upside, is exactly what you want. And that's what's beautiful about Bitcoin. What's beautiful about Bitcoin is that now there's an entire spectrum of how to interact with it. And I really believe that's fundamentally it. Just Bitcoin is getting its claws into the financial system, and it's being able to serve more and more people that are at different points of their life. And so I actually believe this bear market, if there is one, will actually be a lot more palatable for a lot of people.